So Dax, how's your anxiety this weekend?
Let's burn through that. I'm Dax.
And I'm Nick.
Obviously.
Is it obvious? It is obvious.
And welcome to the Call Room, our YouTube rugby chat show.
Kind of weekly YouTube rugby chat show. But yeah, let's just say that if I didn't have anxiety pills lying around the house, I really would have struggled this past Saturday because damn, every single game was like heart-wrenching. Oh my gosh, dying.
Getting up out of your chair, yelling at the TV.
Well, I was yelling at a laptop, but
I was yelling at the TV.
but we'll start off with the maybe not so anxiety-provoking stuff and ease ourselves into the anxiety.
Well, anxiety-provoking for you because you're a Boo Bulls fan and the Pumas ran you close. Again.
We still won, and I didn't watch the game. That's why it wasn't anxiety-provoking.
And then the Cheetahs getting hammered by the Grippers.
After leading half-time as well, so it really was a bad weekend for the Cheetahs. 54 points scored against them in that Currie Cup game.
Yep.
And then the Province versus Lions runaway game at Emirates Airline Park.
Yeah, the Western Province team
scored 9 tries. So
obliterating the competition this year, basically making me wonder why John Dobson isn't in the Stormers coaching setup. But Paul Trejo is in John Dobson's coaching setup.
And speaking of outside of matches news, Paul Trejo sending off a huge
26-page grievances.
You just said 26 page. 26 page. Okay, that's a new numbering system.
What?
Is that part of the threesome numbering system? No. Oh.
You gave a 26-page letter.
26. I heard 26.
26. Someone needs to get the cotton wool out of his ears.
Anyway,
moving along. Pro 14 again.
Pro 14 again. Both South African teams losing.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, the Cheetahs also lost by the exact same scoreline as their Currie Cup game.
Yeah.
I mean, what are the odds of that?
Yeah, I think the splitting the team in two is costing them dearly in both tournaments. But once the Currie Cup finishes, which is probably end of October.
Yes. Yeah. Just after the Rugby Championship.
Then they'll have more players at their disposal and hopefully turn their season around.
Exactly. And then we move on to really the...
Yeah, we're swapping
the games around because I feel like the excitement and the hype, it warrants that we delay it a little bit. So
just a touch. First up,
Argentina versus Australia in Australia.
Yeah, at the Gold Coast. And both of us felt if Argentina did what they did against New Zealand, they could beat Australia.
And what did they do? They didn't do that.
No, they didn't, but they still beat Australia.
They didn't play that same game. And
no. I mean, it was scrappy, it was like dirty, it was in the dugouts. Basically, it wasn't the type of rugby that you'd expect of a test match caliber. Well, that's what I thought. Lots of mistakes on both sides.
Oh, extremely. And I have to say the one thing the Argentinians had going for them was their kit. It was on fleek.
It was very nice. I liked it.
That was a lot nicer than their traditional kits. I don't know why they changed it. It's not like there's a colour clash or anything, but it was a very cool kit.
Yeah.
Australia
were their own worst enemies, actually.
There was a lot of handling errors, a lot of stop-starts, and
like Curtly Beale, I think there were 2 instances with him at fly half where he looked up and the ball hit him in the face and he knocked it on. I was like, what? You're a professional rugby player, you shouldn't be doing that. So yeah, worst enemy. I don't know why they didn't have Bernard Foley in the fly half setup and Beale in the inside centre lane, but I'm not the coach.
Yeah, and again, some anxiety-provoking moments because Argentina were leading by a very narrow margin in the last few minutes, and Australia were on their 5-metre line.
Yeah, 24-19 was the final score, right?
Yeah, it was a tight game, and literally just needed Australia to get over the whitewash and they would have won the game. And what does the decision making of the Australians do? Instead of Israel Folau doing a nice little pop pass to Ben Foley and scoring a guaranteed try, he decides to take a step inside into 3 defenders and he knocks the ball on in the collision.
Yeah, funny enough, that's kind of how something else happened, but we will get to that. But I mean, what was really nice was Israel Folau ghosting through the entire Argentinian team to score a really good individual try. I mean, that was probably one of my tries for the weekend.
But that's what he's good at. He does that very well. So that is why he's in the team. But again, that decision making led Australia down at the death.
Correct.
And they lost the game because of it. And now they have lost the last 5 out of 6 Test matches.
Correct. The only team they've beaten so far is South Africa.
And Ireland.
Well, they beat Ireland on the first one, so it's 1, then 2, then 3, 4. Yeah, not going well for them.
No, not at all.
Well, enough about that boring Test match. On to the biggest anxiety event of the weekend.
Let's just start off and say that after 10 minutes being 12-0 down, I think every South African was sitting there going, right, 50 points, 60 points, what are we looking at here? Test match, cricket score, but you've got to give it to the Boks. They fought it back, getting 2 tries, converting both of them to lead by 2 points.
Yeah.
And then literally it was like 1 for 1 from there.
Well, we went into the break in the lead. I think it was 21-17.
Yes.
And then we scored again. Brilliant intercept try by President Colby that took us ahead. Then they scored 2 tries. Yeah. Let's just say
they won the second half. New Zealand won the second half.
The only thing that won this match for us was we got the kicks that mattered.
Yeah.
Bowden Barrett left 8 points on the park, which would have meant New Zealand would have won that match comfortably. But you got to give it to the guys. I mean, they put their bodies on the line. They put everything into it. I mean, Peter Stepp broke down into tears after the match, which shows how much it's actually meant. It actually felt like we won the World Cup to a lot of people, to be quite honest. I mean, it was it wasn't the best of rugby matches, I will say that.
Listen, I'm not going to take anything away from the Springboks. Fantastic game from them. Great defensive effort. The stat is like 220 tackles as opposed to 90-something tackles.
Yeah, 226 tackles we finished on.
Yeah, so the defensive effort was there, but at the same time, we shouldn't have had to defend that much.
No.
We shouldn't have won a game where we had 29% possession.
Yeah, New Zealand dominated the stats in terms of the territory, in terms of possession. We mustn't forget that New Zealand still scored 6 tries to 5. So while we had a massive defensive effort, there were 2 tries where they ran around our outside wings very comfortably, which is extremely worrying, and a lot of good teams are going to punish that. They fed us our own medicine and scored 2 tries off rolling mauls, which we should have actually worked better. However, having said that, I think the second one was a bit truck and trailer that Nigel Owens missed.
Listen, we can argue about Nigel Owens for days because I think both sides had cause to kind of shout at him because there were a lot of offside calls that marginal.
Yep.
I mean, a couple were very fair. I mean, Faf again giving away a stupid penalty.
Yeah, Villiers Leroux being sent off for offside infringement, cynical offside infringement, but give it to the guys. I mean, they held out for 10 minutes without them scoring.
So yeah, and also a few forward passes were missed again. It's refereeing again issue, and I feel like we're boring people just talking about it. So
yeah,
but I think take the win for what it is.
But I mean,
don't ignore the negatives.
Bowden Barrett and Kieran Reid could have made the decision to go for the 3-point drop goal to finish off the match.
Bowden Barrett was there. He was in the pocket. He was ready for the ball.
Yeah.
It is Aaron Smith who decided, no, I'm not going to pass it back to you. TJ Perinara.
Yeah, there's that too. I mean, come on. It's South Africa. They want to nail that nail into the coffin.
But you know what? You got to give it to the guys. You know, there's so many pictures on social media right now that are showing jersey swaps that, you know, sometimes happen between one or two players if it's a debut thing, but actually nearly every single player swapped with their opposite numbers as because it was such a big deal.
Yeah, it was a massive one.
The All Blacks knew that. They knew the emotion that the Springboks had from the result, and they couldn't fault the Springboks' performance.
No, you can't.
If you listen to Kieran Reid's post-match interview, he said, listen, this is probably one of the best Springbok teams we've played in a long time, and at the end of the day, we lost because of our mistakes.
That's right.
And he owned their mistakes.
It was very un-South African that we pounced on that type of mistakes.
Yeah, Billy Leroux's one try.
Jason Colby's intercept try, which was phenomenal. Apiwe Gyanche's setup tries were both fantastic. I mean, the guy is really, really, really coming through as a top tier Springbok. Still gets sucked in defensively in like that. If he just stays outside, I think we'd probably find less of it. We'd force more guys to run into that channel where we can close him up. But I mean, he's getting there. Yeah,
he's getting there slowly. And I think Jesse Krill being out of position for the start of the game, it did show a little bit. But I think that is why they had that substitution at half time.
Jason punched above his weight.
He did.
I mean, there was one where he kind of was bumped off in the one try.
Listen, I would just like to point out that Rike Ione bounced Franco Mostert senseless.
That's also true.
He had a fantastic game. If I was to pick a man of the match, it would have been Ione, because he scored 2 tries, making him. He's now scored 18 tries from 18 test caps. That's unheard of. Fantastic running meters, fantastic tackle busts, and solid on defense as well.
Yeah, he is pretty solid. I mean, he was really, really good on the day. Let's give him that. But again, New Zealand, Bowden Barrett in the pocket, deciding to go on. Rush defence on poor old Damian McKenzie, and he knocked it on, which gave us the match. So again, knock-ons, closing out wins for 2 underdogs basically.
In that last 10 minutes when they ran it all the way from their 22 to our 5 meter, I was like, that's it, we've lost.
We're done.
I went onto Instagram, I started scrolling, and then we got the ball in a turnover, and I was like, oh my gosh, they didn't score. Okay, wasn't the greatest clearance kick because of pressure, but I was like, oh, there's a chance here.
Yeah.
And then New Zealand were on that 5 meter for the next 5 minutes. My heart rate, oh my gosh. Yeah. I was sitting there, I was literally holding a pillow, like, what the hell is going on here?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, just waiting for the disappointment, because this is going to sound bad, but every South African is so used to that heartbreak, and I was waiting for it, and then suddenly we got the ball after the hooter. And this was 3 minutes after the hooter had sounded.
And we just had to kick it out into touch, and that was it.
And then it was this little fumble backwards. I was like, oh my gosh, that's over the try line. It just needed someone to just slam it down. And then thankfully we got it and kicked it out. And the anxiety was palpable.
Yeah. But this, as Nick Mallett said, was a great dishing of humble pie, because a lot of us wrote off the box.
I mean, we wrote them off.
Yeah, we did. So this is a big chunk of humble pie for a lot of South Africans who had written the Springboks off this week. And the second thing that I agree with Nick Mallett, this sets a bar for this whole team.
Yeah.
And it is important that while we understand that we beat New Zealand in their own backyard, we still got to face them in ours. And the standard, granted we won and we stuck to our guns. In the home game, we're going to have to really, really be on our game.
Yeah, that's very true.
The first hurdle that I want the South Africans to get over is to beat Australia and beat them convincingly. We need to get over that bogey, because in the last 3 tests against them, we've drawn twice
and we've lost once.
And we've lost once. We need to break that bogey against Australia. We should, on paper, beat Australia convincingly and regularly, and that just hasn't happened. So first hurdle I think we're playing Australia in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, we have a bye, and then it's back to South African leg. For me, I read an interesting article, an opinion piece, where they spoke about how we've been debating. It's a very polarized debate over who should the starting Springbok fly-half be, Alton Jantjies versus Andre Pollard. And for me, I've been a Pollard fan. A good mate of mine is an Alton fan, and we argue about this every single day we see each other. And this article said that we might have just solved the problem.
Have them both on field.
Have them both on the field at the same time. Pull in Australia, which is something that Australia used to do very well, but since then they've kind of lost it, where you have your more flamboyant fly half as your number 10, and your more physical running fly half as your 12. And they seem to complement each other very well. They had a good portion of the game playing together in that situation with Alton at 10 and Pollard at 12. And under pressure, and they did very well with it. Some fantastic passes from Alton. One which I was like, oh my gosh, that was nearly intercepted, but it led to a good Springbok run by Frans Malherbe. And Pollard was really there in defence. He was taking the ball up in the game line. He was actually a solid number 12. So that's maybe something for Rassie to think over going forward, given that Damien is injured. Does he bring in back Esterhuizen into the mix, or does he rather have Pollard?
We try it out against Australia. I mean, there is that possibility.
I mean, at this stage, there really is nothing to lose, because let's be honest, New Zealand are going to beat Argentina, and then they've got the Rugby Championship in the bag. Mathematically, no one can get it from them. They're 6 points ahead, so they really just need one game, and then it's done.
I mean, the only thing I think. I think we've got 2 injury concerns out of the New Zealand game, and that was Dialendi and Kanyo So as long as the guys stay fit and healthy, we'll probably see Jesse Creel at outside centre. Pollard will probably shift to inside centre. Colby, I'd like to actually get a run on start.
In all likelihood,
he
probably will, unless Mpimpi is back.
Or Saboom Corsi, because he's supposed to be fit again towards the tail end, but we'll have to wait and see. I'd give Colby a chance. I mean, he did score in his second run on match, and it was a great intercept try, so we need that. We need that eyesight.
But let us know your thoughts in the comments, and like the video if you enjoy our ramblings.
And hit the bell icon so we can notify you when we put them up.
Until next time.
Cheers.
Bye.